it's not so easy to create content. Even with producing here, even for television, it's not easy. You have to be always on your toes. There are challenges that you face every time.
Absolutely.
How do you manage those challenges with parenting? And then we talked about people criticizing you and your parental style and everything. How do you cope? Because sometimes people being on your case, criticizing you, challenges with creating content.
Yes.
The kids not behaving properly.
I think so first of all, we have each other's back. Like Ruth and I, we're pretty solid as a team. Like we're pretty tight, which is great, because if we didn't have that together, our support, like this would have fallen apart.
Yes.
So the thing is, we have each other's back 100%. Of course, we get into tiffs every now and then, but in the end, we're still together. We're married for 12 years. We're strong. We have 3 kids. We love each other very much. Everything's going great. But fortunately, in addition to that, we do have plenty of family, friends, and even a lot of viewers.
Yes.
A lot of our supporters and viewers, they send us a lot of positive feedback, a lot of support. They've helped us out in situations. Like they'll personally reach out to us and just offer assistance, support, or they'll attack the nasty people that attack us. They'll have our backs, and they'll kind of get on their case. And so it's nice. Like we have our own kind of support group, and everything that kind of works in the end for us.
I love that for you. It's always good to have a family it's a family that you haven't met, and then they are there for you, because it's not easy putting together content, and the stress of bringing kids together, and equipment can act funny.
Yes.
And can be stressful, especially when you're in a mood to create content and you have to, and your schedule time and everything.
Yeah.
Ruth knows about that.
I know what that feels like.
I know. Yeah.
And it can be stressful. I like how you have a coping mechanism, because it's very important for life, for us and our growing. When we get older like this, God, so many things that get to us easily. But even though there are challenging times, there are good times, right? So what is the most rewarding part of sharing your story with us, the world?
Seeing people happy.
Yeah,
Smiles.
making people happy. I think getting feedback. We've gotten several feedback from several viewers that tell us, like, they'll have a very ill family member or something, and they might be bedridden, and they just reach out to us saying, listen, I just want to personally thank you for putting on the show, because it's like the only thing that their parent or family member watches, and it brings them joy and happy, because they're just bedridden and sick and whatever, and that really means the most to us more than anything. I think that primarily, and secondly is like, we've had people pretty much from like all over the world, almost every country, like, we've had so much like feedback and compliments from as far away, like, Seychelles, Maldives, we had Fiji, we have all these tiny island nations, I think Vanuatu, American Samoa, I know it's a territory, but like, besides major countries, these very, not obscure, but these small island nations and everything that just, and like, I'm shocked. I'm like, how do they even, like, what? How are they watching us? Like, how do they know about us? So I think, being part of this global social media thing and reaching out to all corners and just sharing our positivity and love, like, it just, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
I love that. Ruth, you're an author. You're writing, right?
Yes,
You're an author.
I wrote a book, about my life, a memoir.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But the thing is, how does it really? Is it tied to the what's it called? Your story with life less scripted? Is it tied to it? Is there some ties in it?
Yeah. So
Is it a reflection of what happens in your life?
Yes. So basically, the end of the book just it goes from where I started and how it is now. So it started off as a 16-year-old girl, or as a 6-year-old girl whose dream is to go to America or to take a plane. So my dad takes me to the airport at 6 years old, and I'm in Kotoka International Airport, where he was standing behind those bars. They used to have those chain link fence, and my dad took me there, and I was holding onto the chain link fence, and I saw this big plane, the huge thing, and I was looking up at it, and I looked at my dad and said, one day I'm going to be on that plane.
Yeah.
I'm going to take off, and you're going to watch me take off. And it actually happened. The day that I was flying off at 16, my dad was standing at the...
Is he alive?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, I know what that
Why am I being
It's okay, babe.
emotional?
No, it's all right, babe.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not, not at all. It was a dream and it came true. And
Yeah.
sometimes we look back on some of the things that how far we've come, and then we take it for granted.
Yeah.
You know, at how far you've come, and then you realize that you've come a long way. So
Right.
it's not stupid. No,
Yeah.
not one bit.
I know. It just happened exactly how I pictured it, and just going up those, plane, and seeing him just waving at me, and I was obviously scared because I was alone and I had no family.
Oh, you traveled for the first time.
I traveled alone. Yeah, I leaving my family behind, and as I was scared, excited that I was going.
I was having a first trip alone.
You're happy.
By myself.
Right. Oh,
It was fun.
That's great.
Yeah. No mommy shouting. Are you wearing this? No. I wore slippers. I wore shoes when I go there. I wore slippers.
Yeah, but it was good. It was a great experience, and so I talk about that in the book, and then going to the States, and then my struggle while I'm in the state alone, and a lot of things happen.
The culture clash.
Yes,
Yes.
a lot of things happen.
Unfortunately, negative things that have happened to her.
So then I come out of it, and then I talk about my meeting Derek, which was amazing.
Aww.
You have to read it. It's so
Yeah.
good. And then I meet Derek, and then obviously we get married, and then it talks a little bit in the end about our social media journey with our family, and but the book has a lot of
I mean,
Interesting.
yeah, being called, she titled it Going Off Script, and I think the whole point Ruth told me was that her life is, it's kind of unique, because there are certain lifestyles that, or, you hear these stories where, you can almost predict what's going to happen next. But for Ruth, as she said, like she left 16 years as an exchange student, but growing up, she even mentioned, she grew up, kind of, in poverty, impoverished, whatever. But then she ended up, when she came to America and she worked her way up to being a nanny, she had a lot of positive experiences. Don't get me wrong, there were some negative, but there were a lot of positives. She ended up, when she talked about being a nanny, working for like one of the wealthiest families, like pretty much in the world. So, and then after that, meeting me, and then us getting married, and now doing social media together. It's quite a unique
In the beginning, my parents used to break stones for money. Like they'd go into the mountains and they would take hammer and they would break their stones.
Yeah,
and they
that's
would carry it on their head.
Yeah.
They would sell it for like literally pennies. So it was we used to sleep in like one room, square room, slates for pouring water. Like it was not good. But in seeing that and how my parents worked really hard to still make sure we had something to eat, Christmases, and and even talks about trying to travel, and things I faced while trying to travel in terms of money and getting whatever I needed to be able to leave the country. All of it is in the book, so it's a great read.
it was a fantastic book.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank
so
you very
proud of her.
Oh, I love it. I really do, because you can see the connection. Like, when I'm a little, my best friend says I like to gossip. I can sit back. I've been observing the two of you without you. I'm talking to you, but I'm watching both of you, and I like how he encourages you and stuff. And it's beautiful. It's genuine. And then when you're sharing that with people, there's hope for other people to know that there's people like Derek out there who would be there, who would love you regardless of what you've been through, and be supportive of you. And that's what most people are looking for. For my show, we have conversations on relationships and marriages, and it gives people hope that not because of who he is, but there are certain kind of men like that who be supportive and gush all over you and stuff like that. That's beautiful.
That's him.
And I hear you say you like to be raw and real.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask you, but being an observant person, both of you are just annoyingly raw and real. Yeah. I'll be anybody who knows me really will say I say it the way it is. I'm not going to be rude about it.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And how are you able to keep this going in this world with everybody trying to be perfect? Because like you said, it's not what we are trying to show to people on social media is real life.
Right.
Kids throwing tantrums, there's small disagreements here and there, and everybody wants to be as perfect as possible.
Yeah.
How are you able to keep it up? Because people come at you with everything.
Yeah. I think, I honestly, I would feel that hopefully as people watch us more, hopefully we're able to change a little bit of that. I think people, a lot of these social media influencers or whatnot, are afraid to show themselves because they're afraid of the rejection or not being loved by people. And I think that as we share our story and as we share just our our rawness and realness, that they'll be able to say, look at them. And I get it. They might look at our comments and be like, we still want to be fake a little bit and show the perfection because we're scared, because look at them, you know. But I think that as we keep going and show strength through all of it, and then also hopefully they'll see also the support we get, that they will be able to sit back and say, you know what, it's okay if I film a video today and I'm not happy in the video, and I don't have a makeup in the video,
Yeah.
and I don't
like that
look
part.
well
We don't
put
have
together.
makeup in the video.
Yeah, and it's fine if, you know, I appear with a few spots on my face, because that's normal.
Being
We all
authentic
have
and
that,
real.
right? So, we're hoping for that. Yes,
Yeah, I'll add something really quick. So also from my perspective, guy's perspective, is besides communication, how I said is like extremely important, change, willing to compromise, and like as a guy, like for example, really quick, because like honestly, Ruth is behind the brains of the operation for social media. Like she is.
I like that.
She is
Boss
the foundation.
lady.
She really is. No, and I have no problem accepting that. I encourage it. I help her out, and so like me, it wasn't even a matter of swallowing pride as a man. It's like I'm used to like being the breadwinner, or just like, you know, supporting, like being the one who provides, right? But her, I find myself more in the supportive role. So with her, like I took over a lot of domestic chores. Like I told her, like, let me do the laundry, let me wash the dishes, let me do this, let me do that. I take care of the garbage, I fix things around the house. Like basically I'm there to accommodate her as best as I can. Like again, it's not always perfect. Sometimes we get into arguments. Like someone's like, okay, can you do that? You know, but like for the most part, like anything I could do to make her feel at ease, because I know the work she's putting into it.
Yeah.
You know, she definitely spends more time than I do, puts in more effort in a way that like we both put in effort, but like I said, she's like, I would say it's like a 70-30 split.
Yeah.
You know, like she's 70%, I'm like 30%. So to make it easier for her, like I'll do all the grocery shopping. Whatever you need, babe, is there something I can get you to eat? Like I'm her errand boy / and I have no problem accepting that. I'm totally cool with that, and I'm happy to fulfill that role. Okay.
You know.
You see, I'm an errand boy, and then you get people to help. That's just beautiful. I think it gets to a point that when you get married, you're able to become friends and agree on certain things. And
Absolutely.
it's very important. And I think communication being the the optimal, like, the prime rule for the two of you helps it, because we have different ideas, we come from different backgrounds, so we're able to share and agree on something. It makes sense.